Tonight we're in Uniontown for high school football here on CB3 Sports. Brian McLean here coming to you from Francis Scott Key High School for Monocacy Valley Athletic League football. In a few moments it's going to be Key and the Railroaders of Brunswick. As most of you know, it hasn't been a very good season for Key. They are 0-8 coming into tonight. They have lost a school record 19 games, but keep in mind Key is better this year compared to last year overall, according to head coach Mike Coons. The records are the same, but this team has improved from week to week. They had their best effort of the season last week against South Hagerstown. That was a 20-12 loss. It was the best effort the defense has put on, and the running game is starting to get better as well. Very young squad here at Key. Only 6 seniors make up the roster, and tonight you may see the quarterback, wingback, tight end, and both running backs be all sophomores. It's that young a squad. Coming in tonight, the Brunswick Railroaders. Brunswick is 5-3 overall and 4-3 in the Monocacy Valley Athletic League. Right now they are 7th in their region, and they could possibly clinch a state playoff berth with the win tonight over Francis Scott Key. It should be very, very interesting. Key is playing the spoiler tonight with the win. Brunswick is playoff bound with the win as well. Keep your eyes on number 1, Scott Fry for Brunswick. He has over 1,000 yards rushing. They play a wing T offense, does Brunswick, and they play a 5-2, although a multiple defense. As far as Francis Scott Key, they run different offenses as well, led by sophomore quarterback Matt Haynes, and they'll play a multiple defense on the defensive side. So it's MVAL football tonight, week number 9 of the high school football season. I'm Brian McLean. It's Brunswick and Francis Scott Key. The kickoff and all the play-by-play is coming up next on CB3 Sports. Stay with us.
The fall 1991 marching band season is drawing to a close. This evening, we would like to take time to honor members of the 1998.
Pardon me? Okay, I'll just cue off for you if I can, since I can't hear him through the headset.
Number 33, number 66, Clint Cromwell.
Once again, good evening, everybody, and welcome to more high school football on CB3 Sports. Tonight it's MVAL play, the Railroaders of Brunswick and the Francis Scott Key Eagles. Brian McLean back with you as the team captains meet at midfield for tonight's contest, our 9th week of the 91 season. The Francis Scott Key Eagle team captains Norman Jones and Clint Cromwell meeting at midfield right now. The Francis Scott Key Eagles winless in 1991, but in speaking with Coach Mike Coons before the game, Mike feels the team has improved overall compared to last season. Now, of course, the records are the same. The Key has improved week by week, and a very tough schedule as well in the Monocacy Valley Athletic League, one of the better small school conferences in the state of Maryland. They lost last week to South Hagerstown 20-12. That was the best effort of the season defensively, allowing only 20 points. And they have come through as well from time to time. They have a couple of seniors, but only 6 seniors on that roster. A very young squad here in Uniontown. They're led by Scott Everly, one of their senior split ends. Scott with 17 catches on the season and 3 touchdowns. But they have a very young ball club in skill areas and up front as well. In fact, their quarterback Matt Haynes is just a sophomore. A lot of sophomores in that backfield that we'll be seeing this evening. Some of the other sophomores we'll be seeing tonight, well, Rick Cooper's a junior. Rick will be the starting tailback tonight. At fullback, Josh Kroon, he has been promoted to varsity. Josh Kroon is a sophomore. He'll be the starting fullback tonight as well. So a lot of those skilled players we'll be seeing this evening are very, very young and will be underclassmen. For the Railroaders of Brunswick, pretty good year for Coach Mark Mitchell's squad. This is a team that won just 3 ball games last season. They have improved a great deal this year. In fact, they have knocked off some pretty good teams in the MVAL, most notably Walkersville about 3-4 weeks ago. Brunswick comes in with an overall record of 5-3, 4-3 in the conference, and a win tonight could very well clinch them a spot in the Class 1A state playoffs, as right now they are at about 7th in their respective region. The Railroaders of Brunswick coming in tonight wearing their road white and gold, and the Francis Scott Key Eagles, of course, wearing their home dark blue, a la the Nittany Lions of Penn State. We're glad to have you along, and it's good to be back here in Uniontown. This is our first look at Key since the very first game of the season when Francis Scott Key played North Carroll right here in Uniontown. Mike Coons, in his 3rd season, the head football coach at Francis Scott Key. And we're set to get started. Key has won the toss. They will receive the opening kickoff. And the kickoff comes down to Scott Everly at the 10. Everly straight ahead, and Everly brought down to the 34-yard line, where Francis Scott Key will begin play. Dave Mayonato made the stop, and here come the Eagles. The starting quarterback is the sophomore Matt Haynes. The tailback is Rick Cooper, and the fullback will be the sophomore Josh Krohn. Brandon Brillhart is the tight end, and the split end is Scott Everly. 1st and 10 for Key from the 34. Everly and Bosley are the wideouts. That's Bosley in motion. Fake pitch now straight ahead across the 35 to the 36-yard line. It's Josh Krohn, the fullback. Josh got about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The offensive line for Key, a little different than the last time we saw them. Tony Bitzel starting at center tonight for the injured Clint Cromwell. Cromwell will play tonight, but he's not starting. The guards are Brandon Hurst and Dale Bloom, and the tackles are Mario Lagunas and Chris Taylor. 2nd down and 7 from the 37. Cooper off the right side. Good yardage across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Rick Cooper close to a 1st down. He's about a yard shy. But Hooper with good yardage around the outside. The Brunswick defense now. The defensive ends are Matt Cockerham and Sean Haga. The monster back will be Brian Nice. The nose guard is Larry Mills. Jamie Thie and Curtis Warfield are the defensive tackles. John Mongold and Randy Franklin are the linebackers. Scott Fry is the safety. 3rd down, we'll call it 2 for the Eagles at the 42. Bosley once again goes in motion. The Eagles down to the I. It's the tailback Hooper, and Hooper is stopped at the 41-yard line. Fine defensive play made by Sean Haga. We'll see him on offense as the quarterback. And Brunswick stops the Eagles in their first possession as they are forced to punt it away. Brandon Brillhart coming in the punt. Brillhart has done the punting chores all season. His average is about 36 yards a punt. A low snap, he's got to get it off, and he does so. Good kick coming down to the 28-yard line. Some problems for Dan Barnett and Brunswick, but Brunswick maintains possession, and the Railroaders will start this game offensively. 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Again, Sean Haga is the quarterback. Haga is just a junior, 6'2", 175. The running backs are halfback Scott Fry and fullback Randy Franklin. The wing back is Dan Barnett, number 23, and Stan Legg will be the starting split end for the Railroaders. Jamie Thie is the tight end. We'll check the offensive line in just a moment. Legg will come wide to the near side. The wing T offense. Barnett, the wing back on the left. It's Fry outside. Fry breaks 1 tackle, then brought down to the 35-yard line. Got about 4 yards on the play. Scott Fry, 1,056 yards in 8 games in the 1991 season. John Mongold is the center. Matt Cockerham and Jim Swift are the guards, and Josh Nelson and Jad Drake are the starting offensive tackles for the Railroaders. Brian Swigger into the game now. He comes wide to the near side. 2nd and 6. The wing back in motion, straight ahead to Fry. Fry with a big hole, burst through up to the 49-yard line of Brunswick. He got about 12 yards in the play, and the Railroaders had the first down of the ball game. 1st and 10 at the Brunswick 49. The Francis Scott Key defense now. The defensive tackles, Mario Lagunas, along with Chris Taylor. Brandon Brillhart and Matt Piper are the defensive ends. 1st down. Fry again. And Fry this time is stopped for a gain of maybe a yard or 2, just getting inside Francis Scott Key territory. Brillhart, Bosley, among others, on the stop for the Eagles. Dale Bloom and Brandon Hurst, along with Norman Jones, are the linebackers this evening. Rick Hooper, Scott Everly, they are the cornerbacks. Pat Bosley is the strong safety, the Francis Scott Key defense. At the Eagle 49, it's 2nd and 9. This time it's the wingback, Barnett. Dan Barnett inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2 coming up for the Railroaders. Several Eagles on the stop once again, led by Chris Taylor, number 72. Great night for football tonight, folks. Week 9, we're enjoying good weather. Temperatures right now in the 40s. Just a slight breeze blowing across the field from the far sideline to the near sideline, but everything's in great shape. Typical autumn weather in Carroll County. Everything's in great shape here in the first quarter. Third down and 2. They'll throw on third down, going across the middle, and the pass is caught at the 15-yard line, down inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. That's Stan Legg on the catch for the Railroaders. Inside the 5, it's going to be first and goal. Bosley made a touchdown-saving tackle. What a pass from Haga to Legg. First and goal for Brunswick. So the first pass of the game, a success for Brunswick. Franklin and Fry in the backfield. First and goal. Fry outside. Fry trying to turn the corner, but he will not do so. Fine defensive play made outside by Scott Everly, dropping Fry for a loss back at the 8-yard line. It'll be second and goal. Fry just simply ran out of room. There was Everly to make the defensive stop. 6:35 to go in the first quarter. No score. Brunswick and Francis Scott Key, with the Railroaders still threatening inside the 10. Barnett now will line up as a split end, coming wide to the near sideline, and he'll go in motion. Play action for Haga, looking into the end zone. He fires across the middle, and it's overthrown. Intended for big number 48, Jamie Thie, the tight end. Thie, 6'4", 210. One of the bigger offensive players for the Railroaders, and now they face a third and goal situation from the 8-yard line. Mark Mitchell, the head coach of the Railroaders, is turning things around this season. This team was 3-7 last year. He missed most of that season because of a knee operation. This is his third full season at Brunswick. Mark Mitchell, the Railroader head coach. Third and goal from the 8. Fry to the near side. Fry trying once again to cut upfield. We may have a fumble here. The ball is down at the 10-yard line. Francis Scott Key has the football. What a turnover here. I think Dale Bloom made the hit. Francis Scott Key forces a turnover after that big pass play. The Railroaders had it first and goal inside the 5, and they turned the football over here, and Key gets it back at their own 10-yard line. It was a fine play by Bloom as he gets Fry to cough it up. And here come the Eagles from the 10. First down. Everly and Bosley are sent wide. Lagunas lines up in the backfield, and he'll get the call. Lagunas spins across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. Jamie Thie made the stop for the Railroaders. So one of the things that has victimized the Key Eagles from time to time this season turns out to be a beneficiary, the turnover. Key has struggled with turnovers this year, but not as bad as last season. As a team, they've thrown 13 interceptions. And they've also lost 7 fumbles, but they get a fumble here on Bar Fry's miscue, and second down and 10 now for the Eagles. Ball comes loose at the 1-yard line, and I believe the Railroaders may have it. Down near the goal line now, it's a Brunswick touchdown. A fumble by the Eagles down into the end zone, and Brunswick falls on the football, and they lead 6-0. So the teams trade turnovers here in the first quarter, and Brunswick cashes in with a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So we're just talking about the turnovers and how Key got some momentum going with the fumble by Fry, and they in turn turn it over, and Brunswick turns it into 6. 6-0 Brunswick. Fry is the holder. The kicker, number 35, Mike Legg. The kick is good, and Brunswick strikes first with their defense. We'll take a break here from Uniontown. 4:58 to go in the first quarter. Our score, the Railroaders 7, the Eagles nothing. And when they recover that fumble?
Ando or number
44, Mayonado. Yep, got you loud and clear. Well, Francis Scott Key's 8th lost fumble of the season turns into 6 points for the Brunswick Railroaders as Dave Mayonado fell on the football for Brunswick, giving in the lead. Here comes Everly straight ahead across the 30 to the 33-yard line. So Francis Scott Key gets the football back here. So the fumble recovery by Mayonado. That's where we stand right now, 7-0 Brunswick here in the first quarter. And Francis Scott Key with more breathing room now starting this possession, just inside the 35-yard line. They are the Francis Scott Key Eagles right there. It's Everly number 20. The offense, 32, Rick Hooper, lines up in the backfield. This time, Francis Scott Key spreading the offense out. Bosley goes in motion. Set up here to throw the football out of the shotgun. Haynes looking to the far sideline, and the pass is overthrown in Bosley's area. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Matt Haynes has completed 31 of 91 passes for 390 yards this year. And the sophomore has thrown 4 touchdown passes. 2nd and 10 from the 34. This time they have a tight end, not spread as wide as that last play. 2nd down and 10. Once again, play action. Haynes looking to throw to the near sideline. Pass is caught and then dropped by Everly. The pass will be ruled incomplete at the 49-yard line. A good hit by Fry defensively to knock that ball loose, Scott Fry, and it's ruled an incompletion. So 3rd down and 10. There's Clayton Cromwell to the left of your screen, number 66 for Francis Scott Key, one of the big starters this year for the Eagles, and he was a team captain. He still is a team captain. That's starting tonight. One of those guys you love to watch play. He loves to play both offense and defense. Unfortunately, tonight he is shaken up and will see only limited playing time. 3rd down and 10 from the 34. Split formation behind Haynes. Once again looking to throw, running out of time, and down he goes at the 19-yard line. Larry Mills led the way, number 74 for the Railroader defense with the quarterback sack, and Brillhart and company sent the putt of the way once again. 4 minutes even to go, clock running. First quarter action, Brunswick 7, Francis Scott Key nothing. Brillhart gets it away, a high floating kick coming down to Barnett from the 46. Barnett, a penalty flag goes down. Barnett brought down at the 41-yard line. Penalty flag dropped near midfield. We could have a clip against the Railroaders special teams. That is the case, as our referee tells us. Jim Shank, the referee tonight. Jim Cardle is the umpire. Chuck Engel, the field judge. Bernie Jones, the linesman. Our officials this evening here in Uniontown. This penalty will send Brunswick back. They'll mark it off from the spot of the foul at the 47-yard line. This is a big one, a 15-yarder back to the 37-yard line of the Railroaders. So instead of starting in good field position in Francis Scott Key territory, they begin play here on this drive, 1st and 10 from the 37. Dave Mayonado, the fumble recovery for a touchdown, has been the difference thus far. Defense scoring for Brunswick tonight. They lead 7-0. This time Stan Lay comes to the near side, and they send Barnett to the far side. Barnett comes in motion. Divide play to Fry. Fry with a big hole off the left side. Fry dodges one tackler. Fry down to the 46-yard line of Key, depending on where they mark his forward progress. But a fine effort by Fry once again, who had a huge hole off the left side. Bosley and Hooper, among others, helping out on the stop. It'll be a 1st down for the Railroaders. As Chris Taylor checks out for Key. Schweiger this time goes wide to the far side. Once again, Barnett comes in motion. 1st and 10 from the Eagle 46. This time off tackle, the fullback, number 44, Dave Mayonado. 6'1", 150-pound sophomore. This Brunswick team is pretty young also. Both of these clubs out here tonight, a lot of underclassmen starting this evening. And when you consider Brunswick with 5 victories and a good chance to make the state playoffs, they have accomplished quite a bit in Mitchell's 3rd season. Mayonnaise got about 6. We'll call it 2nd down and 4, just inside the 40. 2:17 to go in the first quarter. Once again, Mayonnaise gets a couple inside the 40. Short of a first down, however. They'll spot the football at the 37-yard line, so we'll call it 3rd down, a long 2 for the Railroaders. This is Monocacy Valley Athletic League football action, the MVAL right now. A pretty good battle between Middletown and Smithsburg for first place in the conference. 1 game separates them. Middletown at 7-0, Smithsburg at 6-1 in the conference. Fry outside, Fry with the first down and more. Hit by Bosley initially, down to the 24-yard line. Fry has another Railroader first down. Also helping on the stop was Dale Bloom for the Eagles. But Scott Fry, what a night he's having so far. He's been very busy, and what a season he's had this year. He now has over 1,100 yards rushing, with still a lot of football left tonight and 1 more game next week. Leg will come forward to the near sideline. He'll be matched up by Bosley. Barnett in motion. The fullback, Mayonnaise. Big hole for Mayonnaise once again. He gets down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line, close to a first down. Hooper made the stop for the Eagles. But Mayonnaise gets Brunswick another first down, this time at the 14-yard line. Barnett will check out, and Swiger will check in. That's number 83 there with the offensive play for Coach Mark Mitchell. And the marching band playing one of my favorites, the Batman theme here tonight in Uniontown. The closing moments here in the first quarter. Barnett in motion. He will get the call. The wing back outside looking for some running room. Barnett cuts upfield and gets down inside the 5-yard line. He'll be close to a first down. There's several players now getting involved in the Railroader offense. Barnett, again, only a sophomore, 5'10", 150. So a lot of sophomores in the skill areas for Brunswick. Brillhart and Hooper, Jamie Hooper, checks out for Francis Scott Key. 1st and goal at the 3-yard line for the Railroaders. This could very well be the last play of the first quarter. Clock running with 10 seconds to go. Mayonnaise hits the wall, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Brunswick Railroaders. So Brunswick strike once again as there's still time left here in the first quarter, 5 seconds. And the Railroaders find themselves ahead by 2 touchdowns, 13-0, looking to add 1 more. The holder is Fry, the kicker is Legg, Mike Legg. And the extra point is up, and it is no good, missing wide to the left. So Legg can't convert, but once again, Brunswick on the scoreboard here with 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. A break in the action. We'll come back. It's Brunswick 13, Francis Scott Key nothing. Both their scores. Okay, Keith. Scott Fry kicks off to Francis Scott Key. It's Everly from the 11-yard line. Everly across the 25 to the 28-yard line, hit hard by Jeff Oden. And the first quarter comes to a close here in Uniontown. We'll keep it here. We'll wrap things up for you and what's happened so far here in the first quarter. The first period belonged to Scott Fry and Dave Mayonnaise. Fry with an outstanding effort so far, close to 50 yards rushing in just 1 quarter. Mayonnaise has scored both touchdowns for Brunswick tonight. One was a defensive play, the fumble recovery for a touchdown. And recently on the offensive side, a 3-yard touchdown run by Dave. The extra point was no good. That's where we stand right now as we begin play in the second quarter. Brunswick 13, Francis Scott Key nothing here in Monocacy Valley Athletic League football. Once again, glad to have you along. Brian McLean here for CB3 Sports. We have one more game to go in our schedule. And what other game could we do but the annual South Carroll-Westminster clash next week? The 5th meeting between those two squads next week. Westminster and South Carroll will wrap up our regular season schedule of high school football here on CB3. We have some more football coming later this fall. That's all we'll say for now. We'll keep you posted about that. We have some more football coming up from possibly one of two different places. We'll let you know a little bit later. Maybe next week we'll have that official finalized and whatever else. First down now for Francis Scott Key as they begin play here in the second quarter from the 38-yard line. Clint Cromwell is now in, starting at center, or playing at center, I should say, for the Eagles. They spread it out once again on first down. They run it outside. A problem with the pitch. The ball is loose. The football is loose at the 27-yard line, and Francis Scott Key dodges a bullet. The pitch back to Lagunas. They have problems with that, and Key is able to maintain possession. David Green will check in for Brandon Brillhart. Lagunas, just a sophomore once again, 5'10", 174. He leads the Key Eagles in rushing yards with 384 through 8 weeks. Haynes will throw, and the pass is overthrown to Bosley, a screen play out to the split end. We'll call it 3rd down and 11. There was coverage out there by Jeff Oden and Brian Nice. Third and long for Francis Scott Key. They'll put it up once again, more than likely. Stone Slay for one of the wideouts now. He comes wide to the near side. They have Everly, Bosley out there. There's Bosley in motion from the shotgun. 3rd down and long. Haynes across the middle, and the pass is incomplete through the hands of Mario Lagunas. They had a blitz on, did Brunswick. 3 or 4 white jerseys in the face of Haynes. He had to get the ball off in a hurry, and he was able to hit Lagunas, but the ball went through his arms. 4th and long for the Key Eagles, and Brillhart in the punt once again. And the big athlete for the Railroaders, Scott Fry, stands back deep at his own 42, 41-yard line. End over end punch straight up. It takes a Francis Scott Key bounce somewhat out of bounds at the 47-yard line. So Brunswick will start this drive in very good field position at their own 46, 47-yard line. Once again, it's Monocacy Valley Athletic League football tonight. We have some Central Maryland Conference football going on this evening as well. Other teams in the county involved in games. The Westminster Owls with a very tough game on the road at Linganore. Linganore looking to win the Central Maryland Conference Championship this year. They're in the driver's seat to do so. In fact, a win tonight will clinch the championship for Linganore in the Central Maryland Conference. Right now they are 5-0 playing Westminster at home. They're very, very tough to beat at home. South Carroll on the road at Frederick. Liberty is hosting Thomas Johnson. And a non-conference game, North Carroll is hosting Southern. First down for the Eagles as Bosley goes in motion. 13-0 Railroaders. And Josh Kroon, the sophomore fullback, across the 45 to the 46-yard line, stopped by John Mongold, number 53. He got about 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Francis Scott Key Eagles. Second and 8 from the 46. It's David Green in motion coming to the near side. And we could have an offsides here on the Railroader defense. A couple of players jumping over the plane. Look like Jamie Anderson may be a bit too anxious. Second penalty of the game against the Railroaders. This will give Key 5 yards. So second down, we'll call it 3 at the Railroader 49. David Green is out. Bill Stonecipher is in for the Eagle offense. Second down for Key. Stonecipher in motion. The fullback straight ahead. And Crone is going to be short of a first down. I believe they may need a measurement here. He's very, very close to the first down. Needed to get to about the 46-yard line. And the officials, as you see, take a timeout. So they'll measure here to see if Crone got enough yardage. Josh Crone had a 30-yard touchdown last week against South Hagerstown. Again, just a sophomore coming up to the varsity level this year. Some numbers on Crone this year: 66 yards on 9 carries. Very, very good. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry, plus the touchdown last week, and he gets a first down here for the Eagles. So first and 10 for Francis Scott Key at the Railroader 46-yard line. 9:45 to go in the first half, with Brunswick holding on to a 13-point lead. Both touchdowns scored by Dave Mayanato, one defensively and one offensively. So first down for the Eagles. And this time Brillhart goes in motion. They work out of the eye.
Got to run it away from the tree.
And Rick Cooper off the right side gets a couple inside the 45-yard line. Rick Cooper, 5'6", 134. He is a junior, so he'll be back as well next year. Cooper with about 2 yards on that play. Cooper 103 yards on 34 carries entering tonight's game. Second and 8 for the Eagles. Haynes will put it up. Slant pass caught by Bosley. Bosley breaks a tackle. Bosley down the far sideline, down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Bosley with a good effort, breaking that one tackle and getting Francis Scott Key a first down. Brian Nice made the stop for the Railroaders, but not before the Key Eagles pick up a first down. Good slant-in pattern from Bosley, who made a nice catch and took it down the side. Bosley's fourth catch of the season. First down for the Eagles at the 14-yard line. Haynes to put it up again, going for the near sideline. There is Everly. Touchdown! Francis Scott Key. Scott Everly with his 18th catch of the season. It's a touchdown, and Key trails by 7. That was a fine, fine play as Everly was wide open. So the sophomore hooks up with the senior. 13-6. Everly's fourth touchdown of the season. And Brillhart in now to cut this lead to 6. Pat Haynes is the holder. The kick is plenty long enough, and it is good. So Francis Scott Key strikes here. A touchdown pass from Haynes to Everly. And with 8:06 to go in the first half, it is now Brunswick 13, Francis Scott Key 7. Stay with us. Okay. back to Uniontown. Brian McLean here at Francis Scott Key High School. Scott Everly scores a touchdown on a well-thrown football by Matt Haynes. And Key now within 6, 13-7, with just over 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Brillhart is ready, and he'll kick off, and the kick comes down at the 10-yard line to Jeff Oden. A fake reverse. Oden will keep it himself. And Oden, down he goes at the 19-yard line. The Francis Scott Key Eagles are fired up here. Brandon Hurst made the initial tackle, and he got help from about 5 teammates. As Key just enjoying that play. David Green and Mike Johnson, among others, on the stop. Now Brunswick football at the 22-yard line. A very good play by the special teams. Ryan Reynolds, it was a fake reverse to him. Oden kept it himself and got hammered at the 22. So the spark, the Everly touchdown, and the special teams play. We'll see how long it can carry the Francis Scott Key Eagles, trailing by 6. Looking for that first win of the season. Fry outside along the far side. Fry with a lot of running room and a wall of blockers. He could go a long way. Fry into Francis Scott Key territory at the 40-yard line. He got about 40 yards on the play. Scott Fry has a railroader first down. They've opened up a lot of big holes for Fry, and he's taken it one step further with his speed. And you saw the wall of blockers, and a big gain for Brunswick. And quickly Mike Coons calls a timeout for the Eagle defense. Not a bad timeout call here. Francis Scott Key with some momentum on their side, but all of a sudden the Fry run takes a little bit out of them. And Mike's going to call a timeout and discuss things over with his team and have them keep things focused for the defensive side. Again, Francis Scott Key looking for their first win of the season. They're 0-8, and this would be a big win. Their last victory came against Brunswick 2 years ago to the day. It was week 9 of the '89 football season when Francis Scott Key won their last ball game. And looking to do that once again here this evening. Mike Coons still giving final instructions to his ball club. Once again, next week it's Westminster and South Carroll, our final game of the season on CB3 Sports for high school football. Some great running backs we'll see in that ball game. Ronnie Robinson, the county's top rusher and scorer for South Carroll. Mike Hastings, Gabe Zepp of the Westminster Owls. We'll see a lot of exciting plays next week from South Carroll High School, as we'll have Westminster and South Carroll, our final game of the season. Tonight, it's the Railroaders and Key Eagles, and first down now for Brunswick at the Eagle 41. Barnett in motion. It's the fullback off the left side, number 40. Randy Franklin is wrapped up by Mario Lagunas after a gain of about 3. Stan Lake will check in with the offensive play for the Railroaders, talking things over with Sean Haga. Haga, pretty good quarterback. He's also a running quarterback. We haven't seen him do a lot of running tonight, but from time to time he has run the football this year. He's averaged about 50 yards a game on the ground. Barnett in motion. They're going to throw the football, and the pass is caught along the near sideline. Good yardage for Randy Franklin, number 40, for the Railroaders. He is inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. That should be enough. It is enough for a first down for Brunswick. So Franklin with a first down, a good catch. The ball was a little low, and he made the catch, and it will be first down for Brunswick at the Key 29. Clock stopped momentarily. 6:39 to go here in the first half. Swiger, wide right. Barnett in motion. He takes the football. Barnett along the right side, looking to turn the corner once again. Barnett down the far sideline, inside the 10-yard line to about the 6. Everly made the stop. But a fine effort for Barnett, who dodged about 3 tackles. And Brunswick has it first and goal. Brillhart and Hooper check out for the Key defense. Faced with a tough task here As Brunswick now in great shape, 1st and goal at the 6. Outside to Fry. Fry with the speed, looking to cut up to the end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Brunswick Railroaders. Scott Fry with his first touchdown of the night. And Brunswick with their 3rd touchdown of the evening, now lead by 12, 19-7. And we'll see if Coach Mitchell decides to go for 1 or 2 here. They missed their 2nd extra point effort of the evening. And the clock stopped momentarily with just under 6 minutes to play in the first half, 5:59. Scott Fry, a senior, 5'10", 160. And the Railroaders here will go for 2. It's Fry outside, and Fry is in easily. A 2-point conversion for Brunswick. So Scott Fry now with 8 points on the evening, and Brunswick has a 2-touchdown lead. We'll take a timeout here. 5:59 once again to play here in the first half. It is now Brunswick 21, Francis Scott Key 7.
You got a wrong button pushed or something, because I haven't been able to get back into it.
I know. It's gotta be probably right.
You okay now? You've been on non-stop, and I haven't been able to get back to it.
Okay. No, I'm fine. I was blowing in my hand.
Go away from the 2 receiver side.
Welcome back to Francis Scott Key High School. The Railroaders capping a fine drive with that touchdown run by Scott Fry. Fry adds the 2-point conversion. They now lead by 14, 21-7. I'm Brian McLean. It's the next to the last week of the season. Fry with a kickoff. Scott Everly with another return from the 9. Everly straight ahead upfield, and Scott dropped at the 24-yard line. Looked like Dave Mayonato, along with a few others on the stop for the Railroaders. And here come the Eagles, 1st down at the 25. Key showed they can move the football on their last drive. They moved it very well and hooked up on a fine touchdown pass. There was actually 2 well-thrown balls by Matt Haynes on that drive. One to Bosley, which set up the touchdown, and one to Everly, which was the touchdown. And we'll see what Coach Coons and company have up their sleeve right now. Brillhart comes over to the right side. 1st down for Key at the 25. Outside to Hooper. Rick Hooper. Rick with a good effort, close to a 1st down at the 35-yard line. Hooper, a junior, 5'6", 134. That's Rick, number 32. And right now we have a player who is shaken up at the 35-yard line. Rick Hooper is 3rd on the Eagles in rushing yardage with 103 entering tonight's game. Hooper was along the far side. They're measuring right now. It's very close, and the Eagles have a 1st down, so give Hooper 10 yards on the play. 1st down for Francis Scott Key at the 35-yard line. Mario Lagunas will check in for the Eagle offense. Once again, Bosley and Everly are the wideouts. David Green lines up on the left side. 1st down for Key. Haynes will put it up. Coming out for Everly, and the pass is incomplete at the 43-yard line. Everly had his hands on the football. He was covered by number 25, Stan Legg. Another well-thrown ball by Haynes. It'll be 2nd and 10. The Key receivers have gotten open tonight. There's been a lot of cases where they've been open. Haynes has thrown the football well. But a couple of plays, everything's been worked out except for the final catch. A few drop balls tonight. 2nd and 10. Haynes will throw again. The screen play out to Everly. Everly's got it. He needs some blockers. And Scott goes down at the 35-yard line. The tackle wrapped up by number 53, John Mongold. Everly got back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10. 4:50 to go in the first half. Brunswick with a 2-touchdown lead, 21-7. Mayonedo has scored twice, a fumble recovery and a touchdown run. Scott Fry has scored the other touchdown for the Railroaders. And the Haynes to Everly touchdown pass, that's been the scoring so far for Francis Scott Key. 3rd down and 10. Haynes on play action looking to put it up. Across the far sideline, the pass is incomplete, intended out for Brillhart. And Brillhart can't come up with it. It appeared Everly was open down the far sideline, but Matt couldn't see him. And the incomplete pass, it'll be 4th and 10. Brillhart once again in to punt it away for Francis Scott Key. Brandon, again, his numbers this year punting pretty good. He's averaged about 36 yards a punt. Won 40 punts entering tonight's game. This is a low kick, takes an eagle bounce. Fry will pick it up at the 27-yard line. Scott Fry across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Football comes loose, but they rule he was down. And the Railroaders will start this drive at their own 37. Once again, Sean Haga, the quarterback, a 6'2 junior. Dan Barnett, the wingback. Scott Fry and Randy Franklin, the running backs. Stan Legg, the split end. Jamie Fee, the tight end. Legg comes wide left. 1st down from the 37 for Brunswick. Barnett gets the call. The wingback off the left side to the 40-yard line. Stop made by number 41, Chris Beal. Beal, a sophomore, the starting defensive end tonight for Coach Coons. Beal, one of the few players for the Key Eagles who was not on the roster when the season began. Again, he's only a sophomore, 5'6", 123. And Coach Coons getting a lot of sophomores playing time this season on both the offense and defensive sides. 2nd down and 6 from the 40. Barnett goes in motion. Penalty flags go down. In fact, it's a mutual decision by the officials. 4 penalty flags are down on the field. Has some problems at the line of scrimmage. And the penalty will go against the Brunswick offense for illegal procedure. No question about that call. A couple of players jump before the snap. And that will put the football at the 35-yard line. 2nd down and 11. 3:08 to play in the first half. Brunswick by 2 touchdowns. It's the 3rd penalty against Brunswick tonight. Barnett and Swiger are wide. 2nd and long. Barnett comes in motion. It's Fry outside. Scott Fry trying to cut it upfield, but he can't do so. Fine defensive play by Francis Scott Key. That was Rick Hooper, number 32, and made a fine play, dropping Fry for a loss. That play has worked from time to time tonight for Brunswick. Of course, the key on that play, you have to turn it upfield as you try to go outside, and that time Hooper stayed right with him, made a fine stop for a loss, a 4-yard loss back to the 31-yard line. So 3rd down and long. We'll call it 3rd and 15 for the Railroaders here. Play action. Haga to throw across the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for the fullback, Randy Franklin. A couple of Eagles on the coverage. David Green was there, number 23. And 4th and long, and Brunswick now forced to punt. Casey Farr will punt it away for the first time tonight. Scott Everly, the man back deep for the Eagles at the 35-yard line. Casey Farr, the punter. He's a sophomore, 5'9", 165. A low spiraling kick. Penalty flags go down, as I believe Key might have gotten too far. We could have a roughing the kicker penalty coming up against the Francis Scott Key special teams, and that will give Brunswick a first down. And that is one of those penalties that will just drive you crazy if you're a head coach. That is the case, roughing the kicker against the Francis Scott Key Eagles. The Eagles in a great position there, 4th and 15. It wasn't a great punt. The Eagles would have had pretty good field position near midfield, but the penalty, and there's been few against Key tonight, but this penalty, a big one, will give Brunswick an automatic first down at their own 46-yard line. Eagle penalties this year, 23 through 7 games. They have been minimal. Haga to throw, running out of time. Now looking towards the near side, going out to Fry. Bosley on the coverage, and the pass is incomplete. Both Bosley and Fry battling for the football. It was underthrown as Haga was lucky to get that pass off. And it's incomplete. Good coverage by Bosley. It'll be 2nd and 10. Mark Mitchell, in his 3rd season for the Brunswick Railroaders, has 6 assistant coaches. Art Carpenter, John Marshall, and Neil Porter among them, along with Ray Albel, Todd Mumpower, and Bill Ward, the coaching staff for Brunswick. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Barnett goes in motion. It's Fry outside. And Scott Fry gets 5 to midfield. Mike Johnson, I believe, helping out on the stop for Francis Scott Key. We have a timeout called here by Brunswick, so both teams have used one timeout here in the first half. And we'll take a timeout as well. There's your situation, folks. A 14-point lead for Brunswick with just over a minute to play in the first quarter, or first half. 21-7 Brunswick. We'll come back after this. Brunswick football. Haga to throw for Fry. The pass is caught along the far side. Fry dodges one tackle. Now he's down at the 23-yard line. A first down for Brunswick as Bloom makes the stop for Francis Scott Key, but not before Haga connects with Fry. And Brunswick, after that called timeout, have themselves a first down at the Francis Scott Key 23-yard line. Under a minute to go here in the first half. Brunswick with time and 2 timeouts looking to extend their 2-touchdown lead, 21-7. And they threaten here at the 23. A fake to Barnett. Haga with no one open, and Haga's going to go down at the 28-yard line. A couple of Eagles on the stop for Francis Scott Key. Kevin Peters was there. And that'll be a 5-yard loss back to the 28-yard line. So 2nd and 15 for Brunswick. And the clock stopped with 35 seconds as Brunswick calls their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining. We're in Uniontown tonight. Again, our next to last game we'll bring you this year on CB3 Sports. The 1991 season, not the best of years for Carroll County High School football, but there's been some excitement, and we hope to have a lot of excitement next week for the South Carroll-Westminster game. Cavaliers right now with the county's best record. After 8 weeks, they are 5-3, coming off a loss to Damascus last week. The North Carroll Panthers and Liberty Lions, both of those teams 2-6. They'll wrap up their season next week against each other. North Carroll playing Southern and Liberty playing TJ tonight. Westminster at 1-7 and Key at 0-8 rounds out our 5 high school football teams through 8 weeks of the 91 season. 2nd down and 15 for Brunswick. Haga will throw again across the middle. Pass is caught down to the 10-yard line. Good yardage once again. Jamie Thee, the big tight end, his 2nd catch of the night. And Thee down to the 9-yard line. And it will be a first down for Brunswick with 29 seconds on the clock. And Coach Mitchell calls his last timeout. So we'll take a timeout once again, folks. Closing seconds here in the first half. 29 seconds remain here in the second quarter. It's Brunswick 21, Francis Scott Key 7.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Welcome back to Uniontown. 29 seconds to go in the first half. Haga looking for the end zone. Haga down. He's in. Touchdown, Brunswick. Sean Haga, the quarterback. We said he can run. And he'll score here from the 15-yard line. Clock stop with 22 seconds to go here in the first half. It is now 27-7 Brunswick as Haga scores the Railroaders' 4th touchdown. And in for the conversion is Mike Legg. Fries the holder. Legg's kick is up, and it is good. So Brunswick strikes once again here in the final seconds of the first half. A touchdown run by their quarterback, Sean Haga, and they lead by 21. 22 seconds to go in the first half. It's Brunswick 28, Francis Scott Key 7. First half's going to be over in 22 seconds. Okay. We're back at Francis Scott Key High School. The Eagles trailing now by 3 touchdowns after Haga's run. And Fry set the kickoff here. A low kick comes down to Lagunas. Lagunas from the 8 with some problems. And Mario will be brought down at the 16-yard line. So Francis Scott Key will have its final possession of the first half, starting at the 16 with 14 seconds to play in the first half. And the clock will tick off here. We'll see if Key decides to air one out at the end of the first half. They are hurrying to try and get a playoff. Haynes, they run it outside, but the clock has expired. Hooper along the near sideline. Hooper down to the 28-yard line, and that play will conclude our first half of action. So the Francis Scott Key Eagles do score. They hook up Haynes to Everly, but that's been the offense thus far, and the Brunswick offense has answered 3 times, plus the defensive touchdown, the fumble recovery by Mayanato. It's halftime here in Uniontown. Brian McLean here. We'll come back with the halftime show and give you some stats and give you the second half as well. After one half of play, it's Brunswick 28, Francis Scott Key 7. It's halftime at Francis Scott Key High School for high school football tonight. The Brunswick Railroaders lead the Francis Scott Key Eagles 28-7. And as always, the halftime show featuring the marching band. And folks, we'll present it for you right now. The Francis Scott Key High School marching band from Uniontown.
a sniff. We'll do it. Okay. You know what I mean?
The marching band of Francis Scott Key High School. What a show they put on here for the fans at halftime. An outstanding job, and once again, a great job done by the marching band of Francis Scott Key. Welcome back, folks. Brian McLean here. It's halftime. At halftime, winding down here as the players from both teams make their way onto the field once again. Monocacy Valley Athletic League football. It's Brunswick 28, Francis Scott Key 7. We'll take a break here and come back with our first half stats, the second half kickoff, and all the play-by-play. Brunswick and Francis Scott Key will come back after this. Moments away from the second half kickoff tonight here in Uniontown, the Brunswick Railroaders and the Francis Scott Key Eagles. You see there your score: Brunswick 28, Francis Scott Key 7. I'm Brian McLean. The team captains have met at midfield, and we're set to go here with the second half kickoff. By the way, the team captains for Brunswick: Sean Haga, Randy Franklin, Matt Cockrum, and John Mongold. Chris Taylor and Clint Cromwell, the co-captains for the Francis Scott Key Eagles. Some numbers for you in the first half. The great running back, the halfback for Brunswick, Scott Fry. We said earlier he was coming into tonight's game with almost 1,100 yards rushing in 8 games. He has 75 yards on just 10 carries so far. Scott Fry from Brunswick, and his quarterback Sean Haga, who scored a touchdown. He is 4 of 7 for 96 yards. Haga has scored a touchdown on the ground, so has Fry. A touchdown was scored on the ground by Dave Mayanato, and he also scored a defensive touchdown with a fumble recovery. So 4 scores for Brunswick and 1 for Francis Scott Key. A touchdown pass from Matt Haynes to Scott Everly. Brunswick gets the football to start off the second half, and we're underway here as Jeff Oden runs it back across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Here comes Brunswick with their first possession of the second half. Sean Haga, the junior quarterback. The halfback, Scott Fry, the wingback, Dan Barnett, and the fullback, Randy Franklin. Stan Legg, the split end, Jamie Thie, the tight end. And once again, the offensive line for Brunswick: Mongold, the center, Cockrum and Swift are the guards, Nelson and Drake are the tackles. First down from the 34. They send Legg wide to the right. Once again, Fry, the bread and butter play for the Brunswick offense in the first half. This time he gets only 2 across the 35 to the 37-yard line, but it was that play which opened up some big opportunities for Brunswick in the first half. The offensive line getting Fry the hole, and then his speed taking care of the rest. Scott Fry, he is a senior. He will be missed by Coach Mitchell next year, but what a season he's had this year, and this season could go beyond Week 10 for Brunswick. A win tonight will clinch them, could very well clinch them a spot in the playoffs. Second down and 8. Barnett goes in motion. A fake to Barnett, straight ahead to number 40. That's Franklin. Randy Franklin, the fullback, bursts through for about 12, just inside the 50-yard line. It's a Brunswick first down. Good look there at Franklin. One of the captains, I guess you would call them the quad captains. There's 4 captains for the Railroaders. Randy, 5'9", 170, will check out. So first down for Brunswick. The ball is at the 50-yard line. Barnett, the wingback. They run it outside. Fry reverses his field. Now Fry to his left. Gets about 5 yards. But he's popped at the 45-yard line by Brandon Hurst, number 60. He made a fine play. They may mark Fry's progress to about the 46. So a 4-yard gain. Fry made something out of nothing. But a fine play by Hurst as well. It'll be second down and 6. Barnett and Legg check out for the Railroader offense. 28-7 Brunswick, just underway here in the second half. This time the wingback is Jeff Oden. He goes in motion. A divide play. It's Fry. Fry with a good running room. Fry down the near sideline. Fry outside has a first down and more down to the 20-yard line of Francis Scott Key. Fry does it once again. The tackle made by Jamie Hooper, number 81 for Francis Scott Key. But not before Fry gets another Railroader first down, as Brunswick now at the Francis Scott Key 20-yard line. So a fake to Oden. Fry takes it. Goes about 30 yards for a Railroader first down. This time the fullback straight ahead, number 44, Dave Mayanato. The ball comes loose. Mayanato coughs up the football, and we'll see who recovers it for, I believe Brunswick has maintained possession. No, I beg your pardon. Francis Scott Key has recovered the fumble. We got a late call. Mayanato coughs up the football, and Francis Scott Key with the recovery just inside their 10-yard line. So Francis Scott Key kind of deja vu in the first quarter. The same play happened back in the first half in the same area of the field, back at the 10-yard line, when Brunswick fumbled. Key recovered, but then 2 plays later, Key fumbled in the end zone. And that's when Mayanato recovered for a Brunswick touchdown. So we'll see if Key this time can take advantage of the mistake as they get the turnover in their favor here. First down just inside the 10. Matt Haynes will run it to Lagunas. Lagunas outside, and he is stacked and hit by 2 defenders and knocked out of bounds. Helping out on the stop was number 32, Jeff Oden, but a good effort for Lagunas, who gets about 8 yards up to the 18. Lagunas, yes, he's a sophomore, another sophomore for the Eagle offense. Not bad size, 5'10", 174. Starting on the offensive line tonight, but now in the backfield. Started at left tackle this evening for Coach Coons. Stone Cipher 82 lines up on the right. Second down. And Matt Haynes is dropped in a big, big hurry, almost untouched. Maybe he was untouched. Larry Mills comes out of nowhere and drops Haynes back inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. We'll call it third down and a short 6, a 5-yard loss for the Eagles. The Mills appear to be untouched, 6 foot 230, good size for the senior. Larry Mills, the nose guard for the Railroaders. Everly and Bosley are sent wide. Haynes looking to his right, fires, passes, incomplete. Intended for Bosley, coverage there by Stan Legg, number 25. And Legg was right there with Bosley. It's going to bring up 4th down and 6 now for the Eagles. And Brillhart in the punt it away once again. 7:45 to go in the third quarter. And Brunswick by 21, 28-7. Lagunas, or Brillhart, excuse me, gets it off. Fry, the deep man, makes the catch at the 50-yard line, and the ball comes loose. Bosley knocks it loose at the 48-yard line, and Body's still getting hit, and a penalty flag goes down.
That's a bad call.
And we may have a late call here, or a late hit, I should say.
No whistle.
And a penalty flag down at the 45-yard line. Bosley made the hit on Fry, which coughed up the football, and Brunswick is going to be slapped with a personal foul call. So this will go 15 yards against Brunswick. Back to the 37-yard line. They rule Brunswick made the recovery and the late hit. Now there was a case for argument there, although the hit appeared to be late because the play was over. No one heard a whistle, so the play officially had not ended yet. But the officials see it differently. They marked the personal foul against Brunswick. And now the Railroaders had the football at the 33-yard line, first down and 10. And now we have a timeout call. The officials call the timeout themselves. They want to change footballs. First down for Brunswick. Here they come, the Railroaders from the 33-yard line. It's Fry off the left side. And Fry this time tripped up for a loss, possibly a loss of 1. Back to the 31-yard line. Dale Bloom was there to make the stop. We'll spot the football at the 21, or 31, excuse me. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Stan Legg will come wide to the near side. The wingback now is Jeff Oden. Oden goes in motion, and penalty flags are dropped. And the penalty, as you saw, given to us by referee Jim Shank. Defensive offsides against the Eagles. That will spot the football at the 36-yard line. So 2nd down and 7 for Brunswick. Brunswick by 21 here in the 3rd. This time it's Fry off the right side. Fry with a burst of speed. Fry dragged down at the 45-yard line. Making the stop for Key was number 62, Dale Bloom. But another fine effort for Fry at the 44. He has a 1st down. But unfortunately for Fry and Brunswick, he is shaken up at the 44-yard line. Bloom dragged him down with his jersey. And Fry shaken up at the 45-yard line. So we have an injured player here, an official's timeout, and we'll take a timeout as well, folks, from Uniontown. Right now, 6:08 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's Brunswick by 21. The Railroaders 28, the Key Eagles 7. We'll come back after this.
Come on, your head up.
Okay. We're back in Uniontown. Scott Fry, the shaken up Brunswick Railroader, he made his way off the field on his own power. We'll see if he comes back into the ball game. And right now the Railroaders have the football at the 44-yard line, 2nd down and 5 after Jeff Oden's effort of 5 yards. And here comes Brunswick. This time it's Franklin, the fullback. He has a 1st down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Randy Franklin, a 5'9", 170-pound junior, and Brunswick with a 1st down at the Eagle 33. Brunswick leads by 21, 28-7. We're down to 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Scott Fry, we certainly hope he's going to be okay. It's a big part of the Brunswick offense. Keep in mind, they are playoff bound the way it looks, so they can't afford to lose him. This time it's Mayonado who scored 2 first-half touchdowns off the right side. Gets a couple of yards down to the 27-yard line. I beg your pardon, that was Brian Nice, number 14. He's a senior, 6'1", 165. He got about 7 yards in the play down to the 26-yard line. So Nice now in the backfield. Right now he is joined by the fullback, Randy Franklin. 2nd down and 3 as Oden goes in motion. And it's Franklin. And Franklin close to a 1st down inside the 25. And they rule it is a 1st down for Brunswick. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. So Brunswick now with a pretty good sustained drive here, running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage. Fry, Nice, Oden, Mayonado, they're all involved in the running game here. 1st and 10 at the 22. Oden in motion. Fry back into the game, straight ahead. There goes Scott Fry. He is in the end zone. Touchdown, Brunswick. Fry, another score, his 2nd of the night. With the 2-point conversion, it gives him 14 points. And Scott Fry has Brunswick another score. And they lead by 27 now, 34-7. So he's okay, evidently. Scott Fry back into the ball game on his first play since he was shaken up. He got the big hole up the middle, and he took it in for the touchdown. A 22-yard touchdown run for Fry, and the extra point here is blocked by Clint Cromwell. A fine block by Cromwell, who blocks the kick of Mike Legg. So a break of the action here, a touchdown run of 22 yards by Scott Fry, again his second touchdown of the night, and it gives Brunswick a 27-point lead. It's the Railroaders 34, the Eagles 7. Do you know what that gives him now in the night? I'm ready for you. Brian McLean back with you. Fry's kickoff now comes down to Scott Everly for Francis Scott Key. Everly dragged down at the 27-yard line. Several Railroaders on the stop. Casey Farr led the way. And here come the Eagles. First down now from the 27-yard line. Once again, Scott Fry scoring a 22-yard touchdown, his second of the night. And Fry right now 150 yards on 17 carries here in the third quarter. Scott Fry, the senior halfback for Brunswick. Brillhart comes wide to the near side. They send Everly wide to the far side. First down. Bosley comes in motion. Francis Scott Key football. And the lone running back gets the call for Francis Scott Key. Josh Kroon, the sophomore. And one of the Eagles unfortunately shaken up at the 25-yard line. Francis Scott Key trainers coming out to give a look at him. Kroon got about 4 yards on the play. We'll give him 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Not quite sure who that is at the moment. Could be Bosley, but I'm not positive. So we have an injury timeout here in Uniontown, and we'll take an injury timeout of our own as well, folks. Third quarter action here from Francis Scott Key. 3:08 to play in the third. It's Brunswick 34, Key 7. Yeah, we're out. Gentlemen. Dale Bloom was the injured Francis Scott Key Eagle, and Dale comes over now to the Francis Scott Key bench. It appears to be the right leg that was shaken up, and we'll see how he is a bit later. Right now it's back to football. Francis Scott Key on second down. Haynes throws out for Everly at the 35-yard line. It's incomplete, bringing up a 3rd down and 6 situation now for the Key Eagles from their own 32-yard line. Welcome back to Key High School. Brian McLean here. High school football from the Monocacy Valley Athletic League. And Brunswick looking for that playoff berth and firm command of this one by 27, 34-7 with 2:47 to go here in the third quarter. Bosley and Everly will line up both off to the far side. And Matt Haynes sees something he doesn't like facing the Brunswick defense, and he calls a timeout. So Key now uses 1 timeout. They have 2 remaining. Let's give us a moment to once again tell you what's going on this evening, and then wrapping up the high school football season in week number 10. Keep in mind this is one of 5 games involving all 5 schools tonight. The Westminster Owls on the road at Linganore. South Carroll is on the road also at Frederick. The North Carroll Panthers are at home in Hampstead hosting the Bulldogs of Southern, a team from Anne Arundel County, added to North Carroll's schedule this year. And also playing this evening, the Liberty Lions. They are home against Thomas Johnson in Central Maryland Conference play. The way the conference races are shaping up right now with 2 games to play, including tonight, Middletown and Smithsburg battling for first place in the Monocacy Valley Athletic League. The CMC is pretty much all but wrapped up by Linganore. Linganore right now 5-0 in the conference. They can wrap up a perfect conference season with the win against the 1-7 Westminster Owls tonight. It appears they will do that. Dave Carruthers' bunch, an outstanding season for them, just 1 loss overall. And they could find themselves in the Class 3A state playoffs, which begin this year on November the 15th. Quarterfinal action with the state playoffs. Francis Scott Key calls their first of 3 timeouts. Now it's 3rd down and 6 from the 32. And a host of players jump off sides. 3 penalty flags dropped. And we'll get the official call from Jim Shank. Encroachment against the defense. This will put the football at the 37-yard line, just short of a first down. It will be 3rd down and less than a yard for Francis Scott Key. Bosley to the near side. He'll be matched up by by Oden. 3rd and short. And up ahead, first down for Francis Scott Key up to the 41-yard line. Hooper the carrier. Rick Hooper, a junior. 5'6", 134 for Francis Scott Key. He has the Eagles a first down. The football just outside the 40-yard line. Clock running, 2:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. Francis Scott Key will wrap things up next week against Williamsport. Liberty will play North Carroll, and South Carroll and Westminster will square off head-to-head, wrapping up the 91 season. First down for Key. More movement in the defensive line. Penalty flags go down. Pass thrown out for Lagunas. The pass is caught inside the 40 down to the 35-yard line. Stop made by Jeff Oden for Brunswick. Fine play and a good catch by Lagunas. A penalty flag is down back at the 37-yard line. Now, I'm wondering if it was a defensive offsides penalty, but they may rule it against Key. Procedure against Francis Scott Key, because a defensive offsides penalty would have blown the play dead. And they ruled that the defensive line was drawn offsides against Key, and the fine play from Haynes to Lagunas will be nullified by the penalty, and it'll put the football back at the Eagle 36-yard line. So a tough break for Francis Scott Key, as the two sophomores hooked up, Haynes and Lagunas. But a penalty will take the play away. Coming in now for the offense, Bill Stonecipher. He's one of the ends for Key. He's just a junior. Brings in the play call for Coach Mike Coons. 1st and 14 from the 36, down to 1:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. And they work out of the shotgun. Back to Haynes. Haynes being rushed from outside. Nobody's open. He's got to run with it now. And Haynes down to the 37-yard line. John Mongold on the stop with some help. Brian Swiger was there for Brunswick. Football at the 37-yard line. 2nd down and 13 coming up for the Eagles. Mike Coons in his 3rd season here in Uniontown, looking to end this losing streak this evening. His assistant coaches, Bill Heisen, Ed Willier, Tim Harrison, Jeff Yingling, Brian Hollingsworth, Dave Dotson, David Wheeler, and Brenton Blythe as well, the coaching staff. Haynes again from the shotgun, has to hurry. Pass is thrown down the middle at the 45-yard line. No one really looking for the football for Key, as Brunswick with the blitz. And incomplete. And a couple of blitzes we've seen tonight from Brunswick coming usually when Key was in the shotgun formation, pressuring Haynes, and Haynes just got that pass off. Mike Coons in his 3rd season in Uniontown, coming over from Western Maryland College a couple of years ago. Not very pleased at the moment, obviously. Mike expressing his opinions with the officials. Mike, a former assistant coach for Dale Sprague. And 3rd down and 13 now for Francis Scott Key. You figure with all those white jerseys in Haynes' face, someone has to be open downfield, and that time nobody looking back for the football. 3rd down and long. Haynes going for the first down, going out for Bosley, and the pass is picked off by Legg. Stan Legg with the interception up to the Francis Scott Key 45-yard line. So the first interception of the evening thrown by Matt Haynes. That is Matt's 11th of the season. And Stan Legg with the catch, and Brunswick with the football at the Eagle 45-yard line. Pass out for Bosley, just a little underthrown. Legg was there with the catch. Played the football all the way, and here come the Railroaders. 1st and 10 at the 45. Closing seconds of the 3rd quarter. We're down to 24 seconds remaining. Straight ahead, the speedy Scott Fryer. I beg your pardon, that's Franklin, the fullback. Randy Franklin, the junior. He makes it look almost effortless, getting about 10 yards, close to a Brunswick first down. He has pretty good speed, too. As the 3rd quarter comes to a close, here in Uniontown. So very, very close to a first down was Franklin. We'll see if he got it when we come back. We have 3 quarters in the books tonight from Francis Scott Key High School. There's your score after 3 quarters of play. It's Brunswick 34, Francis Scott Key 7. Okay, I'm ready for you. We've played 3 quarters of football tonight here in Uniontown. The Brunswick Railroaders lead the Francis Scott Key Eagles 34-7. Back to football. It's Scott Fry outside for Brunswick. Fry inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line. The initial hit made by Clint Cromwell for the Eagles. Again, Scott Fry, he's had a fantastic night. He has scored 2 touchdowns. And he had about 8 there, so we'll call it second down and 2 at the Eagle 27-yard line. This time Oden, or check that, that's Dan Barnett back into the ball game. Oden now the man in motion, the wingback. Franklin gets the call, the fullback, and Franklin hits a wall of Eagle defenders. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Ed Nall, number 30, was there with some help, of course. Hurst, Cromwell. It'll be third down and 2 for Brunswick. .50 to go in the ball game. Brunswick can keep it on the ground, keep that clock moving, and try and work as much of that clock off as possible. Third down and 2. And a quarterback keeper, Casey Farr, into the ball game now, number 7. And the football comes loose, and Francis Scott Key recovers it. So a delay call, Casey Farr with some problems, and Francis Scott Key will get the football back here at the 32-yard line. So there's still time for Key to get a few more points on the scoreboard here. And Matt Haynes and company now with the football at the 27-yard line. Another turnover tonight. Bosley and Everly are the wideouts. First down for Francis Scott Key. Play action to the near sideline, out for Everly. The pass is caught at the 41-yard line. A fine catch by Everly, who made a sliding catch. Ball was thrown slightly behind him. Stan Legg on the coverage. But a Francis Scott Key first down. 41-yard line is where the football is. Look at Mike Coons on the Key bench. Always enthusiastic, always pumped up, no matter what the situation is for Francis Scott Key. Acting as a cheerleader on that last play. It was a good catch by Everly. And Mike is building up this program. It's going to take time. And he sees improvement week in and week out. But obviously Mike is not happy at all. They said maybe a moral victory last week when they only lost 20-12. Mike said, no way, there are no moral victories. Every loss is tough. And Matt Haynes popped and dropped back to the 34-yard line. The football comes loose, but the officials rule he was down. Dave Mayanato with the quarterback sack for Brunswick will put the football back. They'll spot the football actually at the 35-yard line. So second down and 16 now on a 6-yard loss for the Eagles. Stone Cipher once again checks in. I think Coach Coons has used almost his entire bench tonight on offense and defense. A lot of players, skill areas as well, getting into the ball game. We mentioned Lagunas starting at tackle, and he's also been in the backfield. So everybody getting playing time. When you have a young, thin squad like Mike, that's why you're seeing these youngsters, the sophomores, getting the playing time. Haynes with an intent to throw, but he gets dragged out of bounds at the 37-yard line. A couple of Railroaders to help out with the stop. Jamie Thie, once again the big guy, 6'4", 210 for the Railroaders, brought Haynes out of bounds at the 36. Third and 14. Again, both schools Class 1A. It's an important game for Brunswick for that playoff possibility. They have to face Middletown next week, so They need this one. It could be a very tough game next week with the Knights. But they're in firm command here in the fourth quarter. Third down, Haynes looking to his left. Pass is intercepted at the 50-yard line. Brian Swiger with the interception, the second one of the night for the Railroaders. Swiger celebrating, and he picks off the football at the 50-yard line. Swiger, a junior, 5'10", 140. And they're discussing the situation right now to see if he indeed made the catch. Now I believe they're going to roll an incomplete pass. So no interception for Swiger and the Railroaders. So it's Franciscaki football still, but 4th down and 15 now at the 35. So they rule that Swiger trapped the football, and Brillhart in the punt on the way once again with Fry back deep at the 33-yard line. Penalty flags go down as Brillhart just gets the punt off. Takes a high bounce for Fry at the 34-yard line. Fry dodges 1 tackle, 2 tackles, and there he goes down the near sideline. Fry could go all the way. There is a penalty flag down, but there goes Fry. Touchdown, Brunswick. He appeared to be dropped back at the 40-yard line. He got around 2 tacklers, took it down the sideline. There was no one there, and Fry goes all the way for a touchdown, his 3rd of the night. The procedure call against Key, so this touchdown's going to stand. Another great effort by Scott Fry. 55-yard touchdown return on the punt. It appeared Fry was going to go down. We were almost surprised he picked the football up because he had the 2 key special teams players right there. Fry with the play, takes it all the way back. It's now 40-7. Extra point attempt is up, and it is no good, missing wide left by Mike Legg, so the score stays right there at 40-7. So Fry does it once again, this time on special teams, taking that punt back for a touchdown. 8:22 to go in the ball game, folks, from Uniontown. It's now Brunswick 40, Franciscaki 7. Brian McLean back with you here for CB3 Sports. Scott Fry takes the punt back for a touchdown. It's a 33-point lead for Brunswick. And now the kickoff comes down to Lagunas from the 15. Mario Lagunas hit at the 29-yard line and driven back. Dave Mayanato with the tackle with some help for Brunswick. And once again, here comes Franciscaki. They'll spot the football at the 29-yard line. 8:16 to go in the ball game. Scott Fry has scored 3 touchdowns, and the other 3 touchdowns coming from quarterback Sean Haga, and 2 from Dave Mayanato. A touchdown run of 3 yards. They also recovered a fumble back in the first quarter in the end zone for a touchdown. That's been the Brunswick scoring. Again, the key touchdown coming in the first half, a touchdown pass from Matt Haynes to Scott Everly. Haynes will throw a screen play on first down. That is Everly, and Everly gets up to the 35-yard line. Gain of about 5 yards on the play. Sean Haga, the quarterback, playing defensive end on the defensive side, makes the stop. Both teams, we said earlier, are pretty young. Let's check some of the skill players for Brunswick. Haga's a junior. Barnett's a sophomore. Franklin's a junior. They will lose Fry. Jamie Thie, the big tight end, he's a junior. So a lot of these Railroaders who appear to be playoff bound will be back in 1992, looking for their 6th win of the season. 2nd down and 4. Haynes will throw. He's hit as the ball is thrown and almost picked off by Haga out at the 32-yard line. They're starting to get to Haynes, and that time the ball deflected. It'll be 3rd down. The shaken up Franciscaki Eagle earlier, Dale Bloom, still getting looked at. And that was actually, I beg your pardon, that was Brandon Brillhart, number 9. He appears to be okay, just getting an equipment adjusted. So Brillhart be back in the ballgame very, very soon. 3rd down and 4 now for the Eagles. Pat Bosley, the man in motion. He worked out of the shotgun. Haynes has to hurry. He gets the pass off to Bosley, and it is incomplete, or he did catch the ball, but his knee was down, so the play is dead at the 31. Just like in college football, high school football, when you're down, you are down. You don't have to be touched by a defender. Bosley with his knee down as he caught the football. It goes as a completion, but for a loss. And 4th down and 10 now for the Eagles at the 30. Brillhart now on the punt, and they're going to fake a punt here as the pitch comes back to Lagunas, I believe, and he is not going to get a 1st down as he is hit at the 30-yard line. And Lagunas hit a wall of Railroaders. Dave Mayanato was there, number 44. Checking some numbers once again for Scott Fry. We mentioned that he scored 3 touchdowns tonight. He has scored on the offensive side and special teams as well. His all-purpose yards, including special teams and offense, 251 yards for Scott Fry, the senior. Again, what a great game he's had. Well over 1,000 yards rushing this season. And with 6:18 to play, he has 251 all-purpose yards. He gets the call once again here off the right side. Fry cuts upfield and gets down to about the 26-yard line. But Scott Fry, he will be missed when he graduates, but still a lot of football left in that young man's career as the playoffs are coming up in 2 weeks, and who knows what's next for him. But he has had a great night. We may see him very soon taken out of the ball game. But you couldn't ask for a better effort from him tonight. He's had a 2-point conversion, a 5-yard touchdown run, a 22-yard touchdown run, and that big punt return for a touchdown here in the 4th quarter. They send Oden in motion. It's Franklin, the fullback. And he is down inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. Randy Franklin, a 2-way player for Coach Mitchell, a fullback on offense and a linebacker on defense. Close to a 1st down. They'll say it's 3rd down and short at the 21. Clock continues to run. 5:10 to play. Brunswick 5-3 this year. They've lost 3 games to Smithsburg, North Hagerstown, and Williamsport. And they've had some impressive victories this season. Most notably, we mentioned Walkersville. Always tough in the MVAL, and again, they've accomplished quite a bit here. Nice gets the call here. A couple of changes now made by Coach Mitchell. The quarterback is Casey Farr, number 7. That was Brian Nice, number 14. Nice is a senior, 6'1", 165 pounds. Casey Farr is only a sophomore. He is now the signal caller. Farr at 5'9", 165. So Coach Mitchell starting to unload some of his reserves and getting them some playing time. And a good opportunity for them here. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line with a 40-7 lead. Oden, the wingback, goes in motion. It's Franklin off the right side, and Franklin with a spin inside the 7, close to the 6-yard line. Like Haynes helping out on the stop for Francis Scott Key. Once again, the Railroaders wrap up their season next week with a very tough game, Middletown in Frederick County. Middletown, the Middletown Knights, always a power in Class 2A football. They're year in and year out, it seems, during the state playoffs. They're 7-1 this year, unbeaten in the conference. 2nd and goal, outside to Nice. Nice tries to turn upfield, but he can't do so. He is greeted by Francis Scott Key's Brandon Hurst at the 6. It'll be 3rd and goal. 3:15 to play. This will give us a chance to once again thank our crew on hand tonight here in Uniontown. Our director once again, Keith Scott Nadeau, calling the shots in the truck. And our cameramen, Eric Helm on the field, and James Taylor up here in the booth with us. He goes by Jim. Not the same James Taylor we all know and love. 3rd and goal off the right side. It's going to be Jeff Oden, and Oden cutting upfield is short of the goal line. It'll be 4th and goal now for Brunswick. Jim Taylor making his debut with us tonight here. We welcome him. He's in the booth next to me, and the press box up here at Francis Scott Key. Many thanks to all the gentlemen who have helped us out tonight, putting us up once again. I see Leo Totten is here once again. Leo, the volleyball coach, and what else are you doing tonight? You're running the scoreboard and everything else. He does it all. Ken Nunnally and all the folks here at Francis Scott Key. 4th and goal for Brunswick. And Oden will run the football, and he'll be stopped short of the goal line as the Eagles stack him up. So the goal line defense for Francis Scott Key doing its job here late in the ball game. And on downs, Brunswick turns the football over. So the defense does a good job. You see the closing moments here. A little bit of a breeze picking up. Just over 2 minutes to play in the ball game. And Francis Scott Key will get the football at their own 1-yard line. 1st down. Key will drop to 0-9. Brunswick will improve to 6-3, 5-3 in the conference. Bosley and Everly are sent wide. 1st down from inside the 1. And Key does get some breathing room off the left side. Out to the 5-yard line. The sophomore fullback, Josh Prune, getting the call. Josh, 5'8", 150. It'll be 2nd down and 6 from the 5 with 1:10 to play. I want to also thank Athletic Director Gary Watson here at Francis Scott Key and both head coaches, the Eagles' Mike Coons and Mark Mitchell of Brunswick. 2nd down for the Eagles. Haynes will throw, going down the near sideline, and the pass is picked off, I believe, by Legg at the 32-yard line. Double coverage. Stan Legg with the interception for Brunswick, and that will put the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, for Brunswick. They'll have the football now at the Eagle 32-yard line as the Eagles turn it over here late in the ball game. So Brunswick, it appears to be playoff bound for them, Class 1A. They were 7th in the region entering tonight's ball game. Good turnaround for Brunswick. Again, they were 3-7 last year, and now they're 6-3 with 1 game to play. The quarterback is far. He will touch down to his left knee, and Brunswick will wrap things up here. 20 seconds to go, and that will be the final play of the game as the seconds tick off here in Uniontown. Scott Fry and company for Brunswick. An outstanding game for him and the Brunswick offense. They will win by 33 points, improve to 6-3 overall, 5-3 in the conference, while Key drops to 0-9 overall and 0-8 in the MVAL. We'll come back with our final game stats, wrap things up for you from Uniontown after this timeout. Once again, the final score tonight, Brunswick 40, Francis Scott Key 7. We'll come back after this. All right, Matt, take care.
Tell Ryan I said hi.
Okay. All right. Okay. Things winding down here tonight at Francis Scott Key High School. A very big win for the Brunswick Railroaders. It appears now they are playoff bound with their 6th win of the season, and they're chasing down the coaching staff with who knows what. But Brunswick celebrating their 6th win of the season, and they are going to be Class 1A state playoff bound in about 2 weeks. The final score tonight, Brunswick 40, Francis Scott Key 7. Brian McLean back with you. We'll give you a scoring summary once again. Scott Fry scoring 3 touchdowns tonight. He scored 2 on the ground, rushing the football, and he also ran a punt back 55 yards for a touchdown. The senior Scott Fry with a fantastic night tonight. His numbers with all-purpose yards, 279 all-purpose yards, including running the football from offense and also special teams. He had 161 yards rushing tonight. giving him over 1,200 yards on the season with one more game to go. So what a night once again for Scott Fry, who has had a fantastic season for the Brunswick Railroaders, who went tonight by 33 points. So Scott Fry with 3 touchdowns. The quarterback also, Sean Haga, with 1 touchdown run, and 2 touchdowns coming from Dave Mayanato for Brunswick. He scored in the first quarter on a fumble recovery for a touchdown in the end zone, and he also scored on a 3-yard touchdown run. So Mayanato scoring both offensively and defensively as well. The lone touchdown for Francis Scott Key coming in the first half. A fine play. The 2 sophomores hooking up, or check that, Scott Everly, who was a senior, caught the football. His quarterback, a sophomore, Matt Haynes to Everly. That was the lone score for Francis Scott Key in the first half. We're going to check Fry's numbers once again. Scott Fry now on the season, 1,340 yards rushing. That is a new school record at Brunswick High School. So congratulations to Scott Fry, again with a fantastic night, 161 yards rushing for the big senior. So Brunswick playoff bound, a fine game for them tonight. They improved to 6-3 overall and 5-3 in the NBAL, while Francis Scott Key drops to 0-9 overall and 0-8 in the conference. One final game for both teams, of course, in the regular season. Then Brunswick moves on to the playoffs. Brunswick will play Middletown next week, while Francis Scott Key will be on the road at Williamsport coming up next Friday. So that will do it for us here tonight from Uniontown. Again, many thanks to both coaching staffs, the folks here in the clubhouse at Francis Scott Key High School, and many thanks to you for watching as well. Again, our final score tonight from Francis Scott Key, it was Brunswick 40, the Francis Scott Key Eagles 7. I'm Brian McLean. Good night from Uniontown.